Welcome to this HTML course. In this tutorial, you'll learn the basics of HTML and how it's used to create web pages. By the end, you'll be able to build a simple web page from scratch. The first thing required to start working with HTML and Visual Studio Code to have VS Code installed on your computer. VS Code is a lightweight, powerful code editor that supports many programming languages, including HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Once installed, you should create a new project folder to organize your files and then open that folder in VS Code. Inside the folder, you need to create a new file with a .html extension, like index.html, which tells VS Code that this is an HTML document. This file will serve as the foundation for writing your HTML code, and VS Code will provide helpful features like syntax highlighting, code suggestions, and error detection to make coding easier. After creating your HTML file, you can optionally install extensions like Live Server, which allows you to open your HTML page in a browser and automatically refresh it whenever you save changes. This setup ensures that you have a proper environment to write, test, and debug HTML efficiently, making it easier to build websites and web applications from the very first step. Live Server is a development tool, commonly used as a Visual Studio Code extension, that greatly improves the workflow of web developers working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. When you open an HTML file with Live Server, it automatically launches the page in your default web browser and continuously monitors your project files for any changes. Whenever you make edits to your HTML, CSS, or JavaScript and save them, the browser refreshes automatically, allowing you to see your changes immediately without manually reloading the page. This instant feedback is especially useful when designing layouts, styling elements, or testing interactive features, as it saves time and reduces errors. Additionally, Live Server provides a local server environment, which is important for web development because certain functionalities, such as fetching local JSON files, making API calls, or running AJAX requests, do not work properly when opening HTML files directly in the browser without a server. By simulating a real web server on your local machine, Live Server ensures that your web applications behave more like they would in a live environment. Overall, Live Server streamlines the development process, improves efficiency, and makes testing and debugging much easier, making it an essential tool for anyone building websites or web applications. When working with HTML and Visual Studio Code, it's very helpful to use extensions that make coding easier and cleaner. One of the most popular tools is Prettier, a code formatter that automatically organizes your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with consistent indentation, spacing, and line breaks, making your code more readable and professional. Using this tool ensures that your code is well structured, easier to read, and faster to develop, while also helping you avoid common mistakes and making collaboration with others much smoother. It creates an efficient development environment that helps beginners and experienced developers alike write clean, functional, and professional web code. React is a popular JavaScript library that is used together with HTML to build modern, interactive web applications. Instead of writing large amounts of static HTML, developers use React to create reusable components that represent different parts of a web page, such as buttons, forms, or navigation bars. React uses a syntax called JSX, which looks similar to HTML but allows JavaScript to be written inside it, making the code more readable and organized. When data changes, React efficiently updates only the necessary HTML elements using a virtual DOM, rather than reloading the entire page. This approach improves performance, makes applications faster, and provides a smoother user experience. React is commonly used to build single-page applications where content updates dynamically without refreshing the browser. Angular is a robust front-end framework that is used to build dynamic, scalable web applications. It works closely with HTML by extending it through directives, which allow developers to add behavior and logic directly into the markup. Angular follows a component-based architecture, where applications are divided into reusable components that manage their own data and user interface. The framework is built using TypeScript, which improves code quality by providing strong typing, better tooling, and easier debugging. Angular also includes many built-in features such as routing for navigation, form validation, HTTP communication, and dependency injection, making it a complete solution for building large single-page applications. By automatically updating the user interface when data changes through two-way data binding, Angular helps create fast, responsive, and well-organized web experiences. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, is used to build the structural foundation of websites by organizing and defining the content that appears in a web browser. It allows developers to mark up text as headings, paragraphs, links, images, tables, forms, and other elements so browsers understand their purpose and relationships. HTML also enables navigation between pages through hyperlinks and supports embedding media such as audio and video, while HTML itself focuses on structure and meaning rather than appearance or interaction. It works together with CSS for visual styling and JavaScript for dynamic behavior, making it an essential core technology for creating accessible, functional, and well-organized web pages. Learning HTML is important because it is the foundation of the web, and the core language used to structure every website and web application. A strong understanding of HTML is required for working with modern frameworks and libraries, since technologies like React, Angular, and Vue are all built on top of HTML elements and rely on proper markup. HTML is also an essential career skill, as it is widely expected knowledge for roles in web development, UI/UX design, digital marketing, and content management. By learning HTML, you build a strong web basis that ensures websites function correctly and consistently across all browsers and devices. Additionally, HTML acts as a bridge to front-end development, making it easier to learn CSS for styling and JavaScript for interactivity, and helping developers create accessible, maintainable, and well-structured web experiences. In a web application, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript work together to create the full user experience. HTML provides the structure of the application by defining elements such as headings, forms, buttons, images, and sections. CSS controls the visual appearance, including layout, colors, fonts, spacing, and responsiveness, making the application look clean and user-friendly across different screen sizes and devices. JavaScript adds interactivity and functionality by handling user actions, updating content dynamically, validating forms, communicating with servers, and controlling application logic. Together, these three technologies form the core of modern web applications, turning static pages into interactive, responsive, and dynamic experiences. GitHub is an online platform used to store, manage, and share code, and it is especially popular for Python and other programming projects. It uses a system called Git to track changes in code, allowing developers to see edits over time, revert to earlier versions, and collaborate without overwriting each other's work. GitHub makes it easy for multiple people to work on the same project, review code, report bugs, and suggest improvements. It also serves as a portfolio where developers can showcase their projects and access open source libraries and tools created by others. Global configuration settings define your identity and preferences for all repositories on your computer. The global username, your name, is the name that appears in commit history to show who made changes to the code. The global user email, your email at email.com, is the email address associated with those commits and is often linked to your GitHub account, so your contributions show up on your profile. The global list command, git config, global list, displays all global Git configuration settings currently saved on your system, allowing you to check your username, email, and other preferences in one place. Starting a Git repository and pushing it to GitHub involves a few basic steps that connect your local project to an online repository. First, git init is used to initialize a new Git repository in your project folder, allowing Git to start tracking files. Next, git add stages all files so Git knows which changes you want to save. Then, git commit describe changes creates a commit, which is a snapshot of your project with a message explaining what was changed. After that, git remote at origin https GitHub username repo git links your local repository to a remote GitHub repository named origin. Finally, git push origin main uploads your committed code to the main branch on GitHub and sets it as the default remote branch for future pushes.